Have you ever felt the quiet stretch too long? Like the silence in your home is louder than it used to be. Not just a peaceful afternoon, but the kind of silence that follows you from sunrise to bedtime. No knocks on the door, no shared laughter, no reason to set an extra plate. It's not something most people prepare for. One day, the house is full, and the next, it's just you and the echoes. But here's what no one tells you. Being alone in your later years doesn't mean being forgotten. And it certainly doesn't mean you've reached the end of anything. This could be the start of something deeper, a chance to reconnect with yourself, to care for your spirit, your space, your story. In this video, we're going to walk through 4 powerful habits that can keep you grounded, hopeful, and alive with purpose, even if your days are quieter than they used to be. They're not complicated. You won't need to buy anything or become someone you're not, but they are life-changing. So whether you're already navigating life alone or just beginning to think about it, stay with me. Because the last habit we'll share today might be the very one that restores your peace, your rhythm, and your sense of meaning. Let's begin with number 1, the quiet power of rhythm. When you're living alone in your later years, time starts to lose its edges. There are no footsteps in the hallway, no clinking plates in the kitchen, no conversations pulling you into the day. Instead, there's stillness. And while peaceful at first, that stillness can quickly blur into something else. A fog where morning, afternoon, and night all feel the same. Without a clear rhythm, you may start sleeping odd hours, skipping meals, or spending the whole day in the same chair. It might not seem dangerous, but over time, this lack of structure can drain your energy, dull your mind, and leave you emotionally unanchored. That's why one of the most important gifts you can give yourself, especially when you're on your own, is a simple daily routine. Not a strict schedule, not a checklist of chores, but a dependable, nourishing rhythm that gently guides your day forward. Start by waking up around the same time, even if there's no one waiting. Make your bed. Let in the light. Wash your face. Put on something you feel good in, even if you're not going anywhere. Make breakfast feel like an event. Light music, a warm drink, a plate that feels thoughtful. Then carve out time to move, whether it's a slow walk, light stretches, or dancing to a favorite old tune. Anchor your afternoon with something creative, calming, or connecting. And as the sun sets, have dinner around the same hour. Turn off the TV a little earlier. Let your body wind down. This kind of rhythm doesn't just organize your day. It reclaims your sense of control. It reminds your body and mind that you're still participating in life, not just watching it go by. I remember hearing about Evelyn, 85, fiercely independent. After losing her husband, she said the hardest part wasn't grief, it was the shapelessness. So she made a rule. Every day at 8 a.m. she put on lipstick and shoes. Not for anyone else, just for her. It was her way of telling the world and herself, I'm still here. So if the silence of your day has grown too loud, start with one small ritual, then another. Over time, these little anchors become your rhythm. And in that rhythm, you'll find peace, presence, and the quiet dignity of a life still being fully lived. Number 2, gentle movement, the quiet medicine of aging. When you're growing older on your own, the world tends to shrink. Rooms that once felt full of life now sit still. You wake, move from the bed to the chair, maybe to the kitchen and back again. And before you know it, the day has passed, and so has your energy. At first, it's subtle. A little stiffness in the morning, a pause before getting up, a hesitation on the stairs, but over time that stillness becomes something heavier. The muscles weaken, the balance falters, and the confidence to move starts to fade. But here's something no one tells you loudly enough. Movement is your lifeline, not exercise, not sweating it out, just moving, gently, consistently, intentionally. You don't need special shoes or a treadmill. You need a decision to keep using the gift of motion while you still can. It could be as small as rising and sitting from your chair 5 times in the morning, or standing while brushing your teeth, walking to the mailbox and back each day, reaching your arms to the ceiling while you wait for the kettle to boil. These acts may seem ordinary, but to your body they are signals. I still need you. I still live here. Research shows that light movement boosts blood flow to the brain, lifts mood, improves memory, and slows the natural decline of aging. In fact, moving your body regularly may be one of the most effective ways to protect your independence longer. Take Harold, 80, who lives alone in a small town apartment. After his wife passed, the silence in his home became overwhelming. He didn't feel like going anywhere. He told me, "I felt like a painting on the wall, just hanging there fading." One day, he placed a chair in the hallway and began doing 5 minutes of gentle leg lifts while listening to old jazz records. He didn't miss a day. Then came 10 minutes, then short hallway walks, and within a month he wasn't just moving more, he was feeling more alive, more curious, more himself. That's the beauty of movement. It reconnects you with yourself. It grounds you in your body, and it invites you gently back into the rhythm of life. Even better, it opens your world. A slow walk outside lets the sun touch your face. You hear the birds again. You might wave to a neighbor or see flowers blooming where you didn't notice before. And in those small, moving moments, you remember, you are still part of this living, breathing world. So please, don't wait for someone to push you. Move because you're still here, because your body still responds to love, because every step, every stretch is a quiet way of saying, I still choose life. If this message resonates with you, type number 2 in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Your presence means more than you know, and we're honored to walk this journey beside you. Number 3, meaningful connection, one small moment at a time. Growing older in a quiet home brings with it a strange kind of silence. Sometimes it's calm, other times it's sharp, like walking through a hallway and realizing no one is calling your name anymore. Even the sound of your own voice starts to feel unfamiliar. You might tell yourself, I'm fine alone, and in many ways you are, but human connection isn't about being dependent, it's about being seen, heard, known. Here's the truth. Staying connected doesn't mean throwing parties or joining clubs. It doesn't mean forcing yourself into noise or pretending to be someone you're not. It simply means creating space for little threads of humanity to weave back into your days. A quick wave to your neighbor across the fence, a chat with the pharmacist about how your week is going, a text to your granddaughter just to say, I thought of you today. These moments may last only minutes, but their impact can last all day. Science supports this deeply. Studies from major universities show that even low-frequency social contact helps boost immunity, reduce anxiety, sharpen memory, and lower the risk of dementia. Why? Because connection lights up the brain. It reminds the body that it still matters. It reminds you that your story still has listeners. Let me share the story of Alma, 85. Her husband passed 5 years ago. Her kids live in another state. For a while her days were quiet, too quiet. Then she began attending a local garden club only once a month. She barely spoke at first, just listened, watched. But little by little she began offering advice, sharing stories. And before long, those once-a-month visits turned into real friendships. I don't say much, she told me, but they still look for me. That's all I needed. You don't have to join a club, but you can leave the porch light on. You can say yes when someone offers coffee. You can send a letter, reply to a message, or share a memory that someone else has forgotten. And here's something beautiful. Connection doesn't have to be received, it can be offered. Volunteer to read to children at the library. Mentor someone who needs guidance. Offer your hands, your ears, your time. Because even when your house is empty, you are still full of value. Loneliness doesn't always look like sadness. Sometimes it's just the slow fading of interaction. But connection, that can come back in an instant. So take that step. Reach out. Because you still deserve warmth, friendship, and the sound of your own name spoken by someone who cares. If this message touched you, leave a comment below with number 3. And if you haven't subscribed yet, we'd be honored to have you with us. Your presence means the world, not just to us but to others walking this path with you. Number 4. Find a reason to rise, your personal purpose. There's a quiet kind of ache that comes with aging, not always physical, not always visible. It's the ache of not being needed. No early morning rush, no children calling your name, no work deadline pulling you forward. Just stillness, silence, days that blur. And while peace is a gift, purpose is a necessity. It's easy to feel in those quiet years that the world has moved on without you, that your most meaningful chapters were already written. But I want to gently remind you, that's not true. Purpose doesn't end when the house grows quiet. It doesn't expire when the job is done. It simply asks you to look inward and rewrite the next chapter just for you. And here's the beautiful part. Your purpose now doesn't have to be big or loud. It doesn't need an audience or a paycheck. It only needs to matter to you. It could be tending to a small garden every morning, feeding birds on your porch and learning their calls by heart. It could be knitting a blanket, one row each day, or picking up an old instrument and letting your fingers remember. Or maybe it's something deeper, like writing a letter to someone you've lost, recording stories from your childhood so your grandchildren can someday hear your voice, or researching your family tree and discovering where your people came from. Take Ruth, 84. She lost her husband 5 years ago and the silence nearly broke her. But one day she started baking again, not for a party or a sale, just for herself. She made muffins every Sunday and left them on her neighbor's doorstep with handwritten notes. Months passed. Now her street calls her the porch baker. She laughs when she tells the story. I thought I was invisible. Turns out I just needed a reason to show up. Science supports what Ruth felt. A clear sense of purpose has been linked to lower blood pressure, sharper memory, and even longer life. Because the soul, like a compass, needs direction. Even in solitude, it wants to point somewhere, toward care, creation, or curiosity. And when you're living alone, you're granted a rare kind of freedom. You can follow your own rhythm, paint at midnight, plant vegetables in odd rows, read poetry out loud, organize your photo albums, or just sit by a window and reflect on all the ways you've grown. You don't need permission to find purpose. You don't need anyone else to witness it. Purpose is what happens when your actions align with what makes you feel alive again. So ask yourself tonight, what is something I've always wanted to try but never gave myself the time? What quiet flame in me is still waiting to burn? You're not done. You're simply entering a chapter that you get to write with no expectations, no judgment, just heart. If this message speaks to you, comment number 4 below so we know you're walking this path with us. Now let's wrap this up together. Living alone later in life isn't easy. Some mornings feel too quiet. Some nights feel longer than they should, and it can seem like the world just moved on without checking in on you. But here's what often gets overlooked. This chapter of your life isn't just about loss. It can also be about returning to your rhythm, to your inner voice, to the parts of you that were set aside during decades of raising, working, giving. If anything in today's video felt familiar, if you've ever sat in silence and wondered if you're the only one feeling this way, know this. You are not alone. And more importantly, you still have choices. Because building a steady routine, moving your body with care, nurturing small moments of connection, and finding a personal sense of purpose, these aren't just survival tools, they are your anchors. They bring back clarity, strength, and dignity, one day at a time. So let me ask you, which one of these spoke to your heart the most today? Which one feels like a door you're ready to open? We'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share one simple thing you're going to try this week. Was it the morning walk? The call to an old friend? A new hobby that's been waiting? Your story matters. Your wisdom matters. And every comment reminds someone else out there that they're not facing this season alone. If this video gave you something to think about, or something to hold on to, please like it, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Thank you for being here. We're honored to walk this path with you, and we'll see you in the next video.